And a good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Issues and Attitudes. My name is Jeff Owens, WEIU General Manager. My co-host is Michelle Bravo. Welcome, Michelle.
Hi.
How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Good. And our guest today, Crystal Brown, Assistant Director for EIU Civic Engagement and Volunteerism here on the campus of EIU. Welcome, Crystal. Welcome back.
Thanks. Good to be back.
Yeah, good to be back. Good to see you. I know there's a lot of things that you guys are doing over there at your department, but I think as we go into Thanksgiving, when people think about food and we overeat and we throw food away, there's a lot of people that aren't as lucky as maybe us in this room. So let's talk about the food pantry and how it's really. What is it, about a year old now so far?
Yeah, it's been open. It was a year, October 1st. So it's going really well. We are serving students every day. Classes are in session for 2 hours each afternoon, and our numbers have doubled this year from what we were seeing last year on campus. We've already served 862 total students this semester alone, and
wow.
We only served just under 1,000 last school year. So yeah, there's a huge need out there, not only in our community, but also on our campus for our students.
When you think about that, then the campus food pantry, I mean, is everything you do is by donation, correct?
Yeah.
Donation, either cash or, somebody brings in food?
Yeah, absolutely. Our pantry is 100% funded strictly on donations, whether it's monetary or physical canned good items. We don't have any revenue from tuition and fees.
So when you look at the next, up until the students leave, which a lot of them leave at the end of Friday, some of them have to stay over the weekend and stuff, will you be able to have enough left to take care of them right now?
Yeah, we've got enough in the pantry. The pantry's stocked well right now. We've, as a part of Hunger Action Month, we've had a lot of student groups doing food drives on campus this month. So we actually just got over 1,200 pounds of food donated from the Student Accounting Society about a week and a half ago. They did an amazing semester fundraiser for us.
And let's talk about Hunger Action Month. What exactly is it? And then go into some of the things that you're all doing over there.
Yeah, Hunger Action Month is something we do every year in November. It's a great way for us to be able to educate our campus community on food insecurity and issues around that, to not only educate them, but then encourage them to get involved and see what they can do to help combat that, and go out there, whether it's volunteering at the campus food pantry or just raising awareness in their own avenues. So we do programming throughout the month. We've got food drives from student groups that are happening, as well as our various events.
Okay.
So how do you go and get, the food? You have to have an ID, or how does that work?
For the pantry?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's open to anyone with a Panther card on campus, faculty, staff, or students. And you just need to come in during our hours that we're open and bring your Panther card with you, and then we'll get you checked in and get you food. If our open hours don't work for your schedule, you can reach out to us in the Civic Engagement Office, and we are more than happy to set up a time that works for you, that we're available, and just meet you over there as well to get you food.
When you say there's 800 and some students that are getting meals, so far, I mean, can you give an example of what they would get? Would they get a box lunch or a box?
Yeah. So we've got the staple items that we're offering our students, like protein. So your beefaroni, your canned chicken, your SpaghettiOs. They get peanut butter and jelly. They've got your typical canned fruits, canned vegetables, canned soup. We've got pasta, so rice or spaghetti noodles, macaroni and cheese. Let's see what else. Cereal, beans, spaghetti sauce. So all your typical staple goods to make healthy, nutritious meals. And then we also were very fortunate to get a grant over the summer. So this year we are also now able to offer breads and produce, milk and eggs, and those kind of fresh items that students are loving.
That's awesome. If you live in a dorm, though, I mean, is that, and they don't have the food, I mean, what do they do there?
I mean, our students are, I would say, 50% is on and off campus. So I'm not seeing a huge difference in whether they're living on or off campus. So our students are still utilizing the pantry, whether it's, they still have a kitchen in each residence hall.
Okay.
A lot of students have a mini fridge in their room. So there's still ways they can cook those simple meals.
What about, have you ran into any issues with the international students who are looking for special kinds of food that maybe, that we don't have here? Is that an issue at all?
I know I wish we could provide more of those special items. Obviously, cost is a factor in that. But they obviously take a lot of the rice and pasta stuff that we have. And any other times we get different donations outside of those staple items, we have an extra wall. So students can help themselves to that stuff as well. And we are seeing a lot of international students use our pantry every month.
Do you get to pick what you want, or is it just like, here, this is what we have?
So yeah, great question. So like the soup and the protein and the fruits and vegetables, we list on a sheet what we have currently in stock, and then when you come in, we let you pick what you want up to the limits for each of those kinds of foods.
Now, how do you track who the students are, or just the fact that they're a student? How does that work?
We swipe their Panther card when they come in so that we can track, based on what's in banner, some of their demographic data, if they're on or off campus, what major they are, what grade level, if they're international or first-gen students, so that we can have that demographic information, not only to know who we're serving on campus or maybe what pockets we're missing, but also then we can use that information for grants and that kind of stuff.
And how many times can a student come? Is it per day, per week, or what?
They can come twice a month.
Twice a month?
Yes.
So, and there's other places, though, in Coles County that they can go if that's not enough, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Right here in Charleston, there are two other food pantries, the Charleston Food Pantry and Standing Stone Carpenter's Table Food Pantry. And then, of course, there's some in Mattoon or the surrounding towns that they could also utilize.
Let's talk a little bit about the volunteerism and some of the things that you do. If students want to volunteer to do things in the community, what are some projects that you either have done or are getting ready to do? I know we're heading into winter, so it might be a little less stuff, but talk about that if you can.
Yeah, like you said, there's probably a little less going into the cold months, but we have great partnerships with our community agencies. We do have over 70 nonprofit partners in the community, so even if they're not doing something directly through our office, there's plenty of ways our students can get involved, whether it's going to Douglas Hart Nature Center and helping remove invasive species out there, planting seeds, going to the local animal shelter. We know our students love going out there and serving, and then outside of the typical day-to-day, like we do also offer service days a couple times a year. So if students want to do something with us and go out and do good in groups, we can offer those opportunities as well.
Yeah, I've done a few of those. I've made a bunch of blankets.
Yes.
But yeah, do you guys have anything coming up, before break?
We have our typical pop-up service is what we like to call it, where students can just pop in and out between classes each afternoon, and right now we are making blankets.
Okay.
So doing programs like that. We do also put out on our website every week. There's agencies maybe having holiday events coming up, like Camp New Hope usually does it. The community, our local community, puts on something on the square usually each holiday season. So when we get volunteer opportunities for that, we will post them on there for the students to be able to do on their own.
Okay, and that's on Instagram or?
That is on our website. So if you
Okay.
go to the Civic Engagement Department website and click on Volunteer Now, you can see everything that's happening for this week and next week.
When a student volunteers, is there a certain number of hours they have to do a year, or is it just come and go, or it's?
No, there's no volunteer requirement for EIU. So it's really up to the students on maybe they have a class requirement or they're in an organization that requires service. But outside of that, it's just really up to what their interest is and how much they want to give back.
Okay. How do you, as the assistant director over there, deal with like an issue comes up or a problem comes up? What's the Crystal Brown way of kind of solving that issue?
I think it's really just having that relationship, whether it's with a student or an agency. Maybe students haven't shown up for a volunteer event, just having that good relationship established so that we can figure out, okay, what went wrong and how can we make it better the next time or avoid that situation the next time.
Let's go back to the food pantry just for a little bit as well. Is there certain things that as we head into holidays that you wish that people would donate or give money that you want to buy?
Money is always the best because you can go to Walmart or Aldi's and spend $1, $1.25 on a can of fruit, can of vegetables, and donate that to us. But if you donate that physical dollar to us, we can usually go to the food bank and purchase that at a reduced cost. So that money can go much farther in feeding our students. So money is better, but we will take donations. Obviously, those staple items are what we look for, but we'll put anything on the shelves to students because, like you said, we may not be able to purchase the international foods, specialty foods, but if we can get them donated, we'll put them out for our students to use.
Somebody listening to the community has no idea where to go on campus. They're not familiar with Eastern. What's the easiest way to get to that food pantry so people can donate or stop by?
Yeah, the food pantry is located in McAfee. We're on the lower level, and they can drop by anytime we're open. All that information, we do have a webpage for that as well on our department website. If that doesn't work for them, they can always come by the union and stop by our office and connect with us that way as well.
Okay. And on the volunteer side of things, let's say there's some organization in Mattoon or Charleston that says, we need students to do this, or we need volunteers for something. Is it okay for them to contact you, or do you like to do the contact? Is it back and forth? How's that work?
Either way is fine. Agencies can reach out to us, and we're happy to put something on our website, reach out maybe to the athletic teams to see if they can go and volunteer, and happy to be that middle person and connect them with our students, because we tell our students to come to us and go to our website, but they're also welcome to do their own outreach. If they've historically worked with athletes and just want to connect with the athletic department on their own, they're more than welcome to do that.
Okay, when you think without the spring semester, do you have events that are planned out for volunteerism?
Yeah,
and what kind of student hours are you going to need?
Yeah, we are getting ready to start planning for our first spring service day, which is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So, although the students have the day off of school, we will be here doing a service project. Obviously, we know it's going to be cold weather, so we won't be doing our traditional going out to a dozen or so projects off campus. We'll be doing something here in the union in direct service and an educational speaker. So look after Thanksgiving for more information about that on our website, and you guys can start signing up for it then.
Okay. Is there things that you would like to add to your department, or being the assistant director right now, is that kind of in flux? But if you'd like to do other things and reach out to other organizations or ideas?
Yeah, we're always looking for new things to do, and we're willing to try new ideas because you don't know if it's going to work until you try something, right?
Yeah.
So, that's something that's on my radar for this. Two things on my radar in the spring is to reach out to our student groups and really our student body in general, because as we've gone through a crazy last couple years, what our students are looking for may have changed, or what they have time to do may have changed. So we really want to reach out to them and start making sure students know we're here, what we have to offer, and what do they want to see. Because if they don't want to see just going to the animal shelter a week, they'd rather have educational programs. We want to make sure we're doing that and not wasting everybody's time in other ways.
As a student, Michelle, when you hear that, do you have any ideas that you think that maybe you're in a sorority, correct?
Yeah.
That maybe your sorority would like to do something that you don't have an idea or an outlet to get to it?
I mean, we typically just make blankets. I don't know, but we've attended a bunch of projects throughout the 4 years I've been here, and we're actually one of Greek Life is the top people involved in engagement and things
There you
like
go.
that.
Is there any also things that you looked at as just really challenging? I mean, we got through COVID, but is it now getting students back to volunteering? Because for a couple of years you couldn't go out and do these things. So is it challenging to kind of revamp the entire program?
I think it's not challenging to revamp. It's challenging, like you said, though, to get students to come back out, because I think some of their focuses have changed, or maybe they're now more supporting their family more, or they're just not wanting to get out of their rooms, or not sure how, because not only here has things been different, but also a lot of our students were in high school during COVID and they didn't go to school, even though we were still physically here. So I think that's part of the whole outreach and surveys and focus groups to do in the next semester, is to say, okay, what are you guys really looking for, and what do you see, so that we can make sure we're appealing to them and can be serving them.
Are you going to send out some kind of letter maybe to incoming freshmen, or the student body, or how you doing that?
My thought is to do a survey with the student body, and then also do some specific outreach to our RSOs and try and go to some of their meetings and talk to them and get in front of them and say, okay, here's what we offer, and then also kind of push that survey through them that way.
Because if I remember right, before COVID, your numbers of volunteerism were every year jumping and jumping and jumping to record levels, and then COVID obviously dropped that from you and many other organizations. So that's got to be kind of hard that when you were reaching that, you were doing so well, and then COVID really took a lot of that away.
Yeah. So I think it's also just figuring out how do we refocus and what are those current needs, what's most important, because it doesn't volunteering always will be a big part of the office, but it doesn't have to be the only thing we do either. We're also looking to work a lot closer. There's some transition happening in our division right now, so we'll be working with fraternity and sorority life and doing some leadership programs as well. So seeing how some of that stuff evolves, and we evolve our focus and our new programs that will be coming out of that new area.
And something on your website it's called Service to Go Box. I didn't know what that was. Can you explain?
Yeah. So any student organization or maybe an RA for a hall floor can request a Service to Go project. And what that is a lot of times those student groups may not have the time to say, let's take a group of us and go to the animal shelter. Or maybe they're a larger group like a sorority that's got 20, 30 students in it in that chapter, and the animal shelter can't take that many people at one time, but they can request the blankets or cat and dog toys or letters to senior citizens, and we can give them the supplies to do those indirect projects so that they're still making a difference in their community without leaving their residence hall or their RSO meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really convenient. When we first saw that, we were just kind of like, that's, the best thing ever, because like you just go to the office, pick up whatever you need, and then take it back to them. So it's very easy to get like your hours, and you're still helping out.
It seems like the animal shelter has been a big one that you've brought that up a few times.
Yeah, not only do students like it when we can take them to volunteer at it, but what we do is when we're making the fleece blankets, there's always scraps, obviously, from those. So instead of throwing that away and wasting that material, we turn that into making cat and dog toys, cat and dog beds to support the animal shelter, so that we're making sure we're using all of our materials effectively.
What is the most challenging part of your job? Besides doing this show, I mean. Yeah.
Oh man, that's a good question. I love my job. I love what we do. I guess the challenging part, and we've kind of hit on it, is as students change, demographics change every few years, whether there's COVID or no COVID, is figuring out what works and how do we evolve to stay with those new trends.
Yeah, and I think no matter what, Eastern students have always been good at giving back and wanting to help out and get involved. It's just a matter of, getting them to now, after we're coming out of the shadows of COVID, everybody's we've created a whole generation of, I don't know if they're introverts or just they're just doing things different.
Yeah.
Which it's scary when you think about it. Is there a best piece of advice you've been given though, like to do this job? And somebody say, Crystal, this. Did I stop you?
You did, for a second. I had to think about that. I think doing this job, it's just about being out there and advocating for what those issues are, those causes are, what those passions are, whether it's myself or our department, and making sure that I advocate for that. And I may be really good at doing the back end, behind the scenes and logistics, but if I don't show others what I'm capable of, how are they going to know?
So to use that as an example, so let's say Michelle's thinking about it and wanting to maybe do some volunteers, but she's just kind of on the fence. What would you tell Michelle or any Eastern student, like, here's why maybe you should consider it? Can you give us that pitch?
Yeah, one thing I tell our students when they're coming in looking for volunteer opportunities is, because we have a list on our website, but I don't want you just to pick something because you have to do it. I want you to sit down and look at what fits your availability, but also what fits your interest and your passion, because a lot of times we see students that'll go out and say they like working with nature. So we'll use Douglas Hart as an example. If you enjoy that, I want you to go do that, even if we have to work together to contact them and set that opportunity up, because you're going to then feel that passion and you're going to be more inclined to come back and do more service, whether through them directly or through our office, than if I just send you to pick up trash on the side of the road, which is really boring.
And then to be a good volunteer, when you talk to Eastern students, are there certain 2, 3, 4 traits that they must have or they really need to have? I
think whether you're volunteering or whatever you do, I think you need to be flexible and be willing to try something new, because even if sitting on that Douglas Hart, even if you like nature and you're going to go there, you may not fully know what they're going to want you to do that day. So you may be like, yeah, I like nature, I want to go help and support, but I don't really want to be out digging in the dirt.
Yeah.
So, there's still different aspects to it, but we got to be willing to be flexible and learn more about what we're doing and about that agency. There's so many aspects to a lot of our agencies when they go out that students don't realize what all they do, and they're like, wow, I didn't know that group did this and did X.
Has that led to any good success stories for maybe students going to becoming volunteers or becoming employees of those places?
Yeah, we've had students that have volunteered through our office and then gotten internships with organizations because they've made those connections. We've had students that you mentioned the blanket making that have. A lot of students have done that over the years, whether it's through Jumpstart or just student organizations. And then we've had them go and volunteer at One Stop Community Christmas, and they see, oh, this is really where those blankets are going. We tell them it's going to local kids and families in need to keep them warm, but to see it in full action, that aha moment, that light bulb comes on, like, oh, wow, I really did do something that's making a huge difference.
I mean, I think even Michelle's eyes opened up a little bit when you said 842 students have come to get food here. Yeah. And, you know, Michael Gillespie coined that term around here that I never heard about until a few years ago, food insecurity. What is food insecurity? And talk about why it's been really part of what you all do.
Yeah, food insecurity is where you either don't know where your next meal is coming from, or even if you know you're going to have food, you aren't necessarily going to have a nutritious, balanced meal. You may have that Doritos and that can of soda or Red Bull in class with you, but that's not nutritionally balanced. So if you're food insecure, when you're going to class, your stomach's growling, you're focused on being hungry instead of learning and being successful in the classroom. So our hope and our focus of the food pantry is to be able to help them get nutritionally balanced meals and food to prepare so that they can be more successful in the classroom.
If a student would come to you and they've already been there twice a month, but they're starving, would you give them that third meal or not?
I would obviously support a student, and then what we would do is we'd say, okay, try to, as much as they're willing to communicate with us and share, okay, what else is going on? What can we do to support you? What are some other resources we can provide? Do you have a meal plan? If you do, are you using? And if not, how can we help educate you on the best way to use that? Or where are those other resources in the community? Because there's usually something more going on if they are coming back or they're reaching out to us for that extra support.
Because what concerns me as we get towards the holidays is the fact that, you know, everything's open on campus till Friday, everything shuts down, but some students don't have the way to get home or to eat, and then they're going to be all Thanksgiving week without that. And so I just want you have ways to get them to places, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. We can get them those resources, and although we don't have set open hours when classes aren't in session, like you said, for the most part, some staff member is still here and we can get access to the space. So if a student's in need and they're not going home, they can reach out to us and we'll do our best in our ability to get them that additional food over the break.
We're talking with Crystal Brown, Assistant Director for EIU Civic Engagement and Volunteerism. We got 5 or 6 minutes left. Any other things that you want to talk about, maybe some programs or stuff that we didn't get to?
Yeah. Speaking of food and hunger, with Hunger Action Month, we do still have a couple events happening this week.
One's Wednesday, correct?
Yeah, we've got a couple. We've got another Cooking 101 demonstration class on the 15th at 6 o'clock in Clem Hall. We also have on the 16th, on Wednesday night, we've got a community discussion. So Dr. Michael Gillespie will be kind of facilitating that and sharing about food insecurity, kind of what those numbers look like, because he does a survey every year on that with that data. And then we've got a couple community partners that are experts in that area as well that are going to come and share and kind of brainstorm how we could support that and make a difference in our hometown. So that'll take place Wednesday at 5:30 in the library. And then if you're looking for someplace to go out and eat Wednesday night and want to support the food pantry, Dirty's Bar and Grill from 5 to 8 is doing 15% back to the food pantry on campus if you eat there Wednesday
No, that's
night.
good. That's really good. Can you tell us a little bit about your background? What got you into wanting to be somebody who gives back and volunteers and does what you do?
I think I've always enjoyed volunteering. I saw it even modeled from my parents when they were in like the Lions Club and things like that and doing Halloween stuff with their church and stuff. But I think it really hit in college when I started doing alternative spring breaks and volunteering through our engagement office at my alma mater. And that just really spurred it in me, and I wanted to do more and help with our community. I was an AmeriCorps member at a local youth center and just really fell in love with it. And I thought it was really cool how it worked out, that I was like, not only do I want to continue doing more of this and giving back, but now I can do this as a passion and in my career.
That's neat. Where'd you go to school at?
Indiana State University.
The old Sycamores. There
Yes.
you go. Other information, is there anything else that you were going through your list I interrupted there?
No.
Stuff that's going on. A few minutes up, Michelle, any other final thoughts or comments? All right, well, you know what time it is then. We'll have to go into the world famous random 8 questions. But before I do that, I wanted to tell people that next week there will not be a show. Issues and Attitudes will take a week off for EIU men's basketball has the annual Kids Day. It's usually women, but it's going to be men next Monday at this time. So we'll be off next week. And, of course, Michelle will be on break anyway. So, so all right, here's the random 8 questions. We'll go Crystal and Michelle. Any non-traditional foods that are on your Thanksgiving table? Anything a little bit left or, not normal? Or what somebody would, not the turkey and ham and all that stuff.
I'd say what's not normal probably is tuna macaroni salad.
Tuna macaroni salad?
Yes, and I love it.
I don't know. We already talked
Yeah, we
about
talked about this
this
in our
before.
meeting last week.
It's a very basic meal. I don't know.
So nothing there?
No, nothing.
That's okay. I mean, there's no, like I said, there's no right or wrong answers. All right, your first car, and what color was it?
Geo Metro, and it was red.
Oh my God, I've been through so many cars. But my first
Yeah,
one.
if everybody remembers their first car.
My first one was a Ford Escape, and it was like a off green. Like, it wasn't green. I don't know. It was like a silvery. I don't know what color. The color was really weird. But yeah.
Mine was a Mustang 2, not the cool Mustangs. The Mustang 2, and it was yellow. It was horrible. But it was my first car. You'd never forget. Now we're back to Halloween, Thanksgiving foods. Your favorite type of pie?
I'm not a pie person, but
And then your favorite dessert for Halloween? When I say Halloween,
I want
Thanksgiving.
anything chocolate.
Anything
Brownies.
I like apple pie, which I don't know. I don't really like pumpkin pie. I think.
No, I'm with you. I like other kinds. I like apple or fruit, but yeah, for sure. Is it okay to have your Christmas tree up before Thanksgiving? Yes or no?
It used to be a never. I'm a little more lax on that now that with kids and traveling for Thanksgiving, I feel like it goes by way too fast. So I'll be able to enjoy it.
I say no. Like, maybe like Thanksgiving Day, you can start putting it up, but not before.
Okay, it's all right. So again, no wrong. Do you care about the impending World Cup of soccer?
No.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch a few games.
Okay, so we got a yes and a no there. I'm kind of in between, just because of where they're having it, but that's another day. Your favorite social media or website that if you have 20 minutes, you're going to kill some time with?
This is going to show my age, Facebook.
But I'm gonna go on TikTok, so
There you go. All right. Do you like Christmas music?
Yes.
no. Like, I do not like. I don't. Sorry. Probably sound
It's
like
your
a
last
Grinch.
show, Michelle. You're done. For you, what is your favorite Christmas song?
I don't know.
Oh, all
I don't know
right.
that I have a favorite.
All right. Do your socks have to match?
Yes.
Mine never do. So no.
This is another generational study that I'm doing, is that anybody like under 25, they don't care if their socks match. Over 25, we have to have them match. It's really weird. It's kind of like the noodles thing. If you're south of Kankakee, you have noodles at Thanksgiving. If you're not from around here, you don't have noodles. So there you go. So, Michelle, real quickly, if somebody wants to contact your office, either email or website or phone, what's the best way to get a hold of you if they have some ideas or suggestions? Did I say Michelle?
Yeah.
did.
I did.
I was like, what
You're
office?
Michelle. I'm losing my mind.
You're good. Best way to reach us, they can email us at volunteer@eiu.edu. They can also call us at 581-3967 or check out our website, eiu.edu/volunteer.
There you go. Well, thanks for coming in. Great seeing you. Tell everybody hello and have a great Thanksgiving and holiday season.
Thanks, you too.
Reminder, we'll be back in 2 weeks here on HMX 88.9 WEIU with Issues and Attitudes. Next weekend, we get preempted for EIU men's basketball. Everybody have a great day. Happy Thanksgiving. We are WEIU.